I am sitting here on my balcony thinking about how most people spend their entire lives working for a paycheck, only to have that paycheck vanish into a black hole of poor decisions and unnecessary complexity. Most people are fundamentally wrong about how wealth is built, and they think it requires some kind of secret knowledge or a high-frequency trading desk in their bedroom. The reality is that wealth is built in the quiet, boring moments of automated discipline while you are doing something else entirely. If I had to build a massive pile of wealth starting from zero using only one single filter, I would never start with the hype or whatever some frantic news anchor is screaming about today. I would start by looking at my paycheck as a resource to be harvested rather than a reward to be spent. This is not because I love restriction, but because I love freedom more than I love buying things I do not need. Let me interrupt your regularly scheduled programming with a fact that most of you have never heard because it does not sell subscriptions to luxury lifestyle courses. Nearly all self-made wealth is the result of aggressive gap management between what you earn and what you spend. I am 27 years old with $150,000 in assets, not because I am a genius, but because I am lazy enough to want my money to do the heavy lifting for me. I started a new job recently, and the structure I use is the same one I have followed for the past year because it works without me having to think about it. Complexity is a status signal for people who want to feel smart but stay poor. If you cannot explain your investment strategy to a 12-year-old, you are probably just gambling with extra steps. We are going to use $2,500 as a base paycheck for this breakdown because it is a clean number that represents the average starting point for someone in a corporate environment. The first thing I do before I even see the money is allocate 20% to my 401k. This is my long-term retirement bucket. And if you are not doing this, you are essentially leaving free money on the table while complaining that the system is rigged against you. Most people use a traditional 401k where the money goes in before taxes, which gives you a tax break today, while allowing the capital to compound in a protected environment. The company match is literally the only free lunch in the financial universe. If you ignore it, you are failing a basic math test. Some people prefer the Roth version where you pay taxes now to be free later, but the mechanism of automated consistency is what actually matters. I set my own allocations because I refuse to let a target date fund put me in a slow lane that barely beats inflation. I want growth and I want it now. After that 20% vanishes, I focus on the next 10%, which goes into a taxable brokerage or a Roth IRA. I have already maxed out my Roth IRA for the year 2026 with $7,500 because I like the idea of the government not being able to touch my gains 40 years from now. Since that bucket is full, the money now flows into a standard brokerage account. People get obsessed with tax advantages, but I value liquidity just as much. A brokerage account gives me the freedom to walk away from everything at 35 if I feel like it. I treat my brokerage account with the same reverence as a retirement account. It is a one-way street for capital. Money goes in, but it never comes out to buy a depreciating asset. Then we have the 6% allocation to Bitcoin, which comes out to about $10 a day. I know the critics will say it is volatile or a scam, but I view it as a long-term store of value for the next 30 years. If it goes to zero, I lost the equivalent of a daily snack. If it goes to the moon, I have a life-changing asset. Risk is relative when your foundation is solid. If you have been keeping track, 36% of the paycheck is gone before I even check my bank balance. This is how you win. You pay your future self first, and you live off the scraps that remain. Most people do the opposite. They pay the landlord, the car dealership, and the coffee shop, and then they wonder why there is nothing left to invest. My savings allocation is actually quite small, only about $50 a paycheck, because I already have $20,000 sitting in a high-yield account. That is my fortress. It covers my expenses for over a year if the world ends tomorrow. Once you have your emergency fund, saving more cash is actually a form of wealth destruction because inflation is eating your purchasing power every single hour. The remaining 62% of my money goes toward my actual life. My rent in Phoenix is $1,400 and my car payment is $350. I am hyper-aggressive about paying down debt because interest is a tax on the disorganized. I have paid off $10,000 of my auto loan in just 4 months. Because I hate owing money to anyone, I do not have expensive hobbies. I play video games and I make these videos from my couch. I do not go out drinking or chasing status. My girlfriend covers the groceries, which is a massive help, but the point is that my lifestyle is designed to be lean. I spend another 30 to 40% of my paycheck on extra debt payments because I want to own my life completely. The final 20% stays in my checking account as a buffer. It is a repeatable system that creates income, protects my capital, and gives me choices. Dividend stocks are a huge part of this because I like getting paid to exist. I want to live off the income my investments produce, so I am never forced to sell my assets at a bad time. Most people are taught to chase appreciation, but that forces you to kill the golden goose eventually. I just want the eggs. If my portfolio throws off enough cash to cover my life, the daily price fluctuations become irrelevant. It is about building an engine that kicks off cash while the value becomes a distraction. I think of it like this. If you had a $1,000,000 portfolio that allowed you to never work again, Would you really care if the paper value went down by 40% as long as the checks kept clearing? Wealth is not a number on a screen, it is the ability to do whatever you want with your time. That is the true goal of infinity investing. It is not flashy and it will not make you the most interesting person at a party, but it will make you the wealthiest person in the room over a long enough horizon. Stop trying to be sophisticated and start being consistent. The market is a machine that transfers money from the impatient to the patient. I have chosen which side I want to be on. I hope you do the same. If you are still chasing hot stocks and hoping for a miracle, you are just a gambler in a suit. I would rather be the person who owns the casino, build your foundation, automate your life, and then go find a comfortable chair and wait for the results. That is the only real secret to the game. Everything else is just noise designed to keep you busy while the big players take your money. Stay disciplined and stay bored. It is the most profitable state of mind you can achieve. I will see you when the next dividend hits the account. Until then, stay out of your own way and let the math work. The world does not owe you wealth, but it will reward you for being the most patient person in the room. This is the blueprint. It is up to you to follow it or go back to gambling. The choice is yours. Just remember that time is the only asset you cannot buy back once it is gone. Spend it wisely. Most of you will watch this and do nothing. You will go back to your spreadsheets and your complicated charts. You will try to find the one stock that will make you a millionaire overnight, and in 5 years, you will be in the exact same place you are today. But for the few of you who actually get it, this simple breakdown is the only map you will ever need. It is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep and how hard that money works for you while you are sleeping. That is the difference between a high income and true wealth. One is a treadmill and the other is a vehicle. I am done running on treadmills. I would rather sit in the passenger seat of my own capital and watch the scenery go by. It is a much better view. And the best part is that anyone can do it if they have the stomach for the boredom. Quality is its own reward. Discipline is its own freedom. And cash flow is the only truth that matters in the end. Keep your eyes on the prize and your hands off the steering wheel. Once the system is set, you do not need to drive if the machine already knows the way. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. It is going to be a long and profitable one. That is the end of the lesson for today. Go build something that lasts or just stay lazy and let the system build it for you. Either way, make sure you win the game. It is the only one worth playing. We are looking for stability at the base and growth at the top. Everything in between is just execution, no more excuses, no more complexity, just pure and simple results. That is how we do it here. That is how I got to where I am, and that is how you will get to where you want to be. I am going back to my coffee now. Do whatever you want with your life, but do not say nobody told you how to fix your finances. It is all right here. The data does not lie, only people do. Trust the numbers, trust the process, and most importantly, trust yourself enough to be simple. It is the hardest thing you will ever do, but it is also the most rewarding. See you in the next one. Stay clear, stay lazy, and stay wealthy. That is the mission. Nothing more and nothing less. Good luck out there. You are going to need it if you do not follow the rules. But if you do follow them, luck has nothing to do with it. It is just math, and math never loses. Remember that every time you feel the urge to deviate from the plan, stick to the script. The payouts are worth the wait every single time. Let us talk about the psychology of the long-term investor for a moment, because people think it is about being strong or having nerves of steel. It is actually about being incredibly indifferent to the opinions of others. I do not care if my neighbor has a newer car or if my coworkers think I am being too frugal. I am playing a different game entirely. I am playing the game of ownership. I want to own the productive capacity of the global economy, and I want that ownership to fund my existence. If you focus on that one goal, everything else becomes secondary. The reason most people fail is that they are trying to solve 10 different problems at once. They want to be cool, they want to be rich, they want to be adventurous, and they want to be safe. I only want to be free, and freedom is surprisingly cheap if you stop paying for the approval of people you do not even like. Look at the data again from 1963 to 2021. The high dividend group produced 10 times the wealth of the low dividend group 10 times. That is the difference between retiring in luxury and working until you are 80. And all it required was the discipline to choose the companies that actually share their profits with their owners. It is not rocket science. It is just simple math that people ignore because it does not feel like a hack. People love hacks, they love shortcuts, but the only real shortcut is starting today and never stopping. I see people all the time who are waiting for the perfect market conditions to start. They are waiting for interest rates to drop or for the election to be over or for some miracle to happen. The market does not care about your timeline. The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. I am 27 and I have already done the hard work of setting up the system. Now I just have to wait. Waiting is the hardest part for most people, but it is the easiest part for me. I am naturally lazy, so doing nothing comes easily to me. I suggest you cultivate a bit of that laziness in your own life. Stop trying to do something and start letting something do itself. That is where the real power lies. I am going to sip my coffee and watch the clouds move while my index funds and my dividend stocks do the work. It is a fair trade in my opinion. I gave them my capital and they give me my life back. There is no better deal in the world. If you are still struggling to make sense of your paycheck, go back to the beginning of this video and watch it again. Write down the percentages: 20% to the 401k, 10% to the brokerage, 6% to Bitcoin, $50 to savings. The rest for your life. If you cannot live on the remaining 62%, then you have a spending problem or an income problem. Either way, you need to fix it before you try to get fancy with investing. The foundation is everything. Without a solid foundation, your wealth will be a house of cards that collapses at the first sign of trouble. I have built a fortress, and I invite you to do the same. It is much warmer inside, and the coffee is better. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and stay bored. The bored investors are the ones who end up with all the money. I will see you at the finish line. Or maybe I will already be there waiting for you in my lounge chair. Either way, I am not moving. The math is doing the moving for me, and that is the way it should be. The truth is that most of the financial industry is built on making you feel like you need them. They want you to think it is complicated so they can charge you a fee to manage it. They want you to think you need to be constantly trading so they can collect commissions. I am telling you that you do not need them. You just need a plan and the willpower to stick to it. I am not here to sell you anything. I am just here to tell you that the emperor has no clothes. Investing is a solved problem. We know what works. We have the data. The only variable is you. Are you going to be the person who follows the data or the person who follows the crowd? The crowd is usually wrong and almost always broke. Do not follow them. Follow the math, follow the cash flow, and follow the path of least resistance. That is where the freedom is found. I am 27 years old and I am already free because I understood this early. I am sharing it with you because I think more people should be free. But I am not going to beg you to listen. I am just going to sit here and enjoy my coffee while my assets grow. You can join me or you can keep running on that treadmill. The view is much better from here. I promise every dollar you invest today is a seed that will grow into a tree that provides shade for your future self. Stop cutting down your trees before they have a chance to grow. Plant them, water them with consistency, and then leave them alone. Nature knows what to do, and so does the market. Trust the process, trust the time, and trust the power of compounding. It is the eighth wonder of the world for a reason. Do not let your impatience rob you of your future. Stay the course, keep the faith in the numbers, and never let the noise of the world distract you from your destination. Your freedom is waiting for you at the end of this boring road. All you have to do is keep walking, or just sit there and let the road move you. Either way, just stay on the road. That is the only way to arrive. I will be here if you need another reminder of how simple this all is. But I think you already know. You just have to admit it to yourself. The truth is simple. The truth is boring. The truth is profitable, and that is the truth about building wealth with a paycheck. No magic, no hacks. Just math and time. The two things most people have, but few people use correctly. Start using them today. Your 35-year-old self will thank you, your 50-year-old self will worship you, and your 70-year-old self will be living a life you can only imagine. Right now, it all starts with that next paycheck. What are you going to do with it? The answer will determine the rest of your life. Choose wisely and stay lazy. It is the most productive thing you can do. I am done talking. Now the coffee is gone and the sun is shifting. Go build your empire. One boring dollar at a time. I am rooting for you. Even if I am doing it from a lying position, stay wealthy, stay clear, and stay invested. The market is open and the checks are waiting. Go get yours and never let anyone tell you it is harder than this. It is tea. It really is tea. The end of the script is here. The beginning of your wealth is there. Go find it and don't look back. There is nothing back there for you anyway. Everything you want is straight ahead, on the boring road. See you there. Good luck and goodbye. I am closing my eyes now. The dividends are working. I am resting. You should too. Wealth is about the rest of your life, the rest of your days, the rest that you finally get to have. That is the goal. Rest, real rest, without the worry of money. That is what we are building, one simple paycheck at a time. It is a beautiful thing. Do not ruin it with complexity. Keep it simple. Keep it moving. And keep it forever. That is the final word. Goodbye for now. Until the next payout, stay golden, stay lazy, stay free. The math is on your side. Never forget that. You are the owner now. Act like it, stay calm, and collect. That is the mantra. Repeat it until it is true, and then repeat it because it is true. I am truly done. Now, the silence is calling. Go win. You have the map. Now use it. The world is yours if you are patient enough to take it. One simple step at a time on the boring road to riches. The best road there is. Truly trust me. I am living proof and you can be too. Just start. And don't stop ever until you are sitting where I am. And even then, don't stop. Just let it grow. It is its own reward. The end.